Coming up on Tech News today, the crazy world of Computex Windows 8 tablets. Also, Xbox sort of brings back web TV, and Facebook loves the kids. All that and more coming up.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Tech News Today is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is Tech News Today for Monday, June 4th, 2012. Tech News Today is brought to you by Squarespace.com, the fast and easy way to create a high-quality website or blog. For a free trial and 10% off your first purchase on new accounts, go to Squarespace.com and use offer code TNT6. And they now offer free domain registration with annual plan subscriptions. And by GoToAssist by Citrix. Working in IT can be complicated. With GoToAssist by Citrix, you can take control of your IT world from one simple cloud-based platform. Provide live or unattended support to all your users from anywhere. Sign up for your 30-day free trial today. Visit GoToAssist.com, click the Try It Free button, and use promo code TNT. Welcome to Tech News Today. I'm Tom Merritt.
I'm Sarah Lane.
I'm Iyaz Akhtar.
And I am OMG Chad.
Chad Johnson filling in. Jason Howell had to bow out at the last minute. Thank you, Chad.
No problem.
Appreciate you.
And good to have you back.
Thank you.
You were out of town for a week or so.
Yeah,
That's
I went
right.
back to Austin, had my sister's graduation, so first day back, first good show.
And thrown right into the fire because we're trying our first day at a new arrangement of stories. I don't want to call it a new format, but essentially the idea is that we're going to start Tech News Today with the news fuse, so that we get you the top stories of the day, and then we'll go into our discussion so that we're not rushing through the discussion to get to the news fuse.
Yeah, so if you only have a couple minutes to listen to the show, you're like, oh, I didn't want to listen to the whole thing. I want to get all the news. You can just listen to the first half of it.
You can get all the
everything.
important information
But
right off the
know
top.
that if you don't listen to the whole thing, you're missing some really great stuff.
Yeah, you're going to miss all the really funny stuff, all the enjoyable stuff, but you'll
Right.
get the facts.
Yes.
Because the news is not enjoyable.
Yeah, news fuse is actually pretty good. We've got Computex discussion. We're going to talk about all the crazy things happening there with tablets. E3, so we've got Microsoft and Nintendo announcements to discuss. We're going to talk about Facebook's newfound love of children, possibly.
It's not as bad as it sounds.
No, it's not.
Unless you're paranoid.
Actually, well, it might be. It depends on who you are. But first, we will start with the top 10 stories of the day in the news fuse. Microsoft showed what seemed like, in fact, was hours of trailers for new games in series like Madden, Call of Duty, and Halo today. Those were great, but the centerpiece of their E3 announcement were updates to the Xbox itself. Software updates, sorry, Xbox 720 hopefuls, they're not actually changing the hardware. Live sports expands with the NBA, NHL, and ESPN's app going 24 hours and adding Sports Center. We got new video from Univision, Paramount, and Machinima as well. Xbox Music replaces Zune, but the big deal was Xbox Smart Glass, which lets you use a smartphone and tablet as an extra controller, a keyboard for the new Xbox version of Internet Explorer, a second screen. Your phone and tablet can be a second screen for watching videos, and it comes with AirPlay-like functionality. Smart Glass will obviously work on Windows Phone and Windows 8, but get this, it's also coming to iOS and Android.
In a pre-E3 presentation, Nintendo CEO Satoru Iwata revealed new details on the Wii U's newly designed tablet controller called the Wii U Gamepad with built-in NFC and a universal remote, a companion social network called the Miiverse, and the Wii U Pro controller, which some say looks an awful lot like an Xbox controller.
According to the Wall Street Journal, Facebook is working to open up its social network to people under the age of 13. Facebook for those under 13 would have limited access, and that person's account may be linked to a parent's. Parents may also have the ability to control who can friend their child.
The Samsung Galaxy S3 is finally coming to the United States in a big way, mostly on June 21st. AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, T-Mobile, and U.S. Cellular will carry the phone, and it will be called the Samsung Galaxy S3 on all of those platforms, finally. Dates and prices, however, are not as unanimous. T-Mobile and Sprint say they'll sell the new phone June 21st. Sprint says the price will be $200 for the 16 gig, $250 for the 32 gig. Sprint's also taking pre-orders on June 5th. Verizon won't say anything except they're taking pre-orders on June 6th. And AT&T and U.S. Cellular aren't telling you anything yet. As expected, the U.S. version of the phone will be dual-core in order to accommodate the needs of LTE chips here.
Lots of new stuff coming out of Computex from Asus. 3 new product lines, all running Windows 8. A dual-screen ultrabook called the Taichi. A semi-portable all-in-one desktop called the Transformer AIO, and a convertible laptop called the Asus Transformer Book with a removable keyboard. No word on pricing or availability for the 3 new models yet.
Also, Computex, Acer showed off its Windows 8 machine. There's a 13.1-inch Acer Aspire S7 that Acer says is the thinnest full HD Ultrabook out there. That's a 1920 by 1080 screen. Acer also introduced the Aspire 7600U, a 27-inch all-in-one system that has a 64-point capacitive multi-touch screen and is just 35 millimeters thin, so it's really tiny. Then there's the Acer Iconia W510, which is pretty much Acer's take on Asus's Transformer, a Windows 8 tablet with a keyboard dock.
Do you have to have 64 fingers to take it? No, it's not. It's not that.
No, it's not that kind of thing.
Multi-touch. All right. Sony Vaio's got a refresh at Computex as well. The Vaio T is the company's first Ultrabook, starting at less than $800. Other letters in the Vaio alphabet that are getting refreshes are the E, the S, and the Z series, as well as most notably versions getting Core I series Intel processors. That's Ivy Bridge processors. Expect new laptops to be available from Sony later in June.
Well, Lenovo's one-upped Sony because it has 2 new Ultrabooks starting today. The 13-inch IdeaPad U310 base model has an i3 processor, 320-gigabyte hard drive, 32-gigabyte flash memory for $750 with i5 and i7 options as well. And the 14-inch IdeaPad U410, 8 gigabytes of RAM, NVIDIA GeForce 610M graphics card, 1 gigabyte of memory starting at $800 for the i3 version.
Microsoft issued a patch over the weekend after finding that Flame malware was signed by unauthorized digital certificates. The Windows update revokes a certificate from Microsoft Enforced Licensing Registration Authority and one from Microsoft Enforced Licensing Intermediate PCA.
WebIM service Meebo announced today they've agreed to be acquired by Google. No word on how much Google will pay, but the best guess from All Things D is around $100 million. Meebo has lately been pushing itself as a good way to add social features and advertisements to websites. That's a look at the top 10 stories of the day in the news fuse. We got some E3 stuff to talk about just a second. But first, let me thank our sponsor for today's show, Squarespace.com. The fast and easy way to create a high-quality website or blog. And June is one of the best times to ever sign up for a new account from Squarespace. You know they give you reliable service. You know they have great modules for including social networking and photos. And you know that it makes it easy to take your content from your current blog system and bring it into Squarespace, but you're not locked in with data. But what you might not know is that you can get the best deal right now, free domain name and the lowest price at an additional 10% off. Squarespace offering free domain name registration to all annual plan customers. That's completely integrated within its sign-up process, so you don't have to hassle with the registrars. That's a $15 value you're just getting for nothing. Squarespace recently reduced its prices and is offering plans as low as $8 a month. And Squarespace is still giving 10% off your first purchases on new accounts. That means 10% off the first month on monthly plans or 10% off the first year if you buy an annual plan. So go try it right now. You don't have to spend a dime to give it a shot. Go to squarespace.com, use that free trial account. You don't have to put in your credit card. You just have to name your site, give them your email address. If you decide to purchase it, use the offer code TNT6 and you get that 10% discount. Squarespace.com is what I use for multiple websites. I use it for Sword and Laser. I use it for my book website. Give it a shot. You don't have to take our word for it. We love the way it works. I think you will too. Try it out. Squarespace.com. We thank them for their support of Tech News Today. All right, let's start talking about these stories. E3, Microsoft announcement. I actually went and did a 30-minute run in the middle of it. Didn't feel like I missed much. It was long.
The live things are at 9:30 this morning Pacific time, and I just decided to check out as well because I figured it would take a long time for this to be all sorted out. But Nintendo's got to be scared right now because Microsoft just threw it down. They're like, listen, we have Smart Glass. It's going to run on devices you already have. You don't have to buy another device. You can run Smart Glass, and it's the weird thing is it almost reminds me of the Dreamcast. If you ever had one of those old ones, you can actually they showed a Madden demo where you can do your own play on your tablet or your phone, and then that way the other person can't see what you're doing. It's these small things that makes the Xbox 360 still have a life, even though it's really, really old.
Well, I don't want to tread on your Nintendo discussion, but it's similar to what Nintendo's trying to do with its pad, except you can use any device, right? Because this is coming to iOS and Android.
It's coming to iOS and Android, plus Windows 8 tablets and Windows Phone, which is going to give Windows 8 tablets, I think, a nice big boost because it's probably going to have more enhanced functionality. Microsoft wasn't exactly clear on whether there'll be feature limitations based on the device you have, but it's the content that you get. So let's say you're watching an Xbox Live video. You get enhanced content on your tablet or your phone. So if you're watching the demo with Sherlock Holmes, you could see extra information about that person or about that actor or about that movie right there.
I'm not sure how much I want that. What about you? Do you guys like that idea? I mean, I do use my tablet to look up actor information and stuff, but I never want it fed to me.
Well, but it depends on how it's fed to you, right?
Yeah,
Iyaz, are you suggesting that Windows 8 tablets would have this over something like an iPad, so that you would have an incentive to want a Windows 8 tablet?
That's what it looks like, but it's not exactly clear what functionality will be enabled on every device. That's the thing, because there's enhanced game functionality where you can use your tablet as a controller. Like I was mentioning, the whole when you set up a play on your tablet, you can use your tablet as a controller as well. But as an incentive for the Xbox Live content, I think this is smart when it comes to videos, because why do you want to get it at iTunes or Amazon or Xbox Market? Well, one thing comes with extra content that's on my tablet, but the other ones don't really have that. I mean, you can do this AirPlay kind of functionality I think you do this with an iPad and an Apple TV. But the idea that you get extra content gives this marketplace a little bit more of a hook, because at this point, if they all have the same content, why would you pick one over the other? And maybe this extra content is that little extra.
Well, and they talked about how they've got AirPlay functionality now. So if I've got a Windows tablet, or if I've got Project Glass, I can take a video that I'm watching and send it to the Xbox and watch it on the big screen. But I want more details on how that's going to work. I mean, I'm not going to be able to use my iTunes purchased videos and send them to the screen, am I? I don't think that DRM is compatible.
No, I don't think that's the way it's going to work. That's another reason why I think that Microsoft also showed up Xbox Music, and that service is supposed to be available for everything as well. So theoretically, I guess it's almost like they're hinting that you'll be able to run Xbox Live video on your iOS device or Android.
That'd be crazy.
That's why
cool.
You'd buy it and then send it over. But then again, they didn't exactly say that, so it's kind of a curious kind of.
I guess they could do it in a cloud service situation, right?
But if you want to send to your Apple's not going to want you to send Microsoft content to your Apple TV.
No, but you'd send it to your Xbox.
Oh, your Xbox.
Yeah.
Right,
so it's on. You're on an iPad, but you can stream the video. That would be that would work if you could stream the video to your Project Glass app on iOS and then send it.
Right to Smart Glass.
But not Project. It's just Smart Glass.
Not to be confused with Google Glasses.
The most seamless version of this is going to work with Windows 8 tablets, right?
Yeah, I think the smart thing was also this name, Smart Glass. It's because it's all your devices. It's your tablets, it's your phones, and whatever intermediate device comes out, because as we're going to talk about in Computex, all kinds of form factors are being tried out. The other thing is with all the deals Microsoft set up, all the content deals, again, bolstering this system. It's like, look, we have all the content we have. We don't care if you game or not. If you want a game, you can do that. But now you can watch so much more stuff, including the NBA League Pass, which is in there. And I'm just thinking, Microsoft they have a fully functioning computer in your living room that works really well. And I think a lot of this is going to basically teach everybody, this is how Windows 8 works. Look at this. Do you see all the tiles? You see the way you get your content this way? You can do this immediately. I can go to my tablet and go there. Oh, yeah, it looks exactly the same.
Sarah, you're a cord cutter.
Yeah.
This is aimed directly at cord cutters. I mean, it doesn't give you everything you can get from a cable subscription, but it definitely expands it.
Yeah. I don't have an Xbox 360 at this point. I know. And I even love Dance Central and I love the Kinect, but it hasn't happened to me yet. But the more I hear about how the Xbox, it's the platform. It's not that the Xbox has really gotten a revamp, and Microsoft had said, don't expect anything like that from us at E3 this year. However, it's like the content platform keeps getting better and better to the point where I never thought I'd say, I think I need an Xbox, but it would really help to have one in my living room.
Because it consolidates, but then you do have to pay for Xbox Live to get most of the stuff. You know, they kind of swept that fact under the rug. There's a lot of blackouts on things like NBA League Pass and MLB. for local shows. And the solution there, if you're Microsoft, is like, yeah, but we also work as a tuner for your Comcast subscription, and for several other cable providers. But you don't want to have cable providers. So it's not a clear-cut way to get rid of it yet. No, it still hasn't solved that problem.
I can't just have an Apple TV. I'd miss out on all my Roku apps. I like that more content is coming to all these platforms, Microsoft included.
Now, here's my biggest question. Internet Explorer coming to the Xbox. And it's really cool that why do I keep wanting to call it Project? Smart Glass allows you to use your phone or your tablet as a keyboard. I think that's brilliant.
I'm more excited about that than anything else.
Really?
Oh gosh, yes. I mean, using the controller to do it's like, and that was a feature that they just kind of swiped over, and I was just like, wow. Finally, I can have a computer that a tablet. It's not really a computer, but that can interface with my Xbox. That brings just the keyboard. That was the piece that really sealed the deal for me.
Well, it's not just keyboard though. You can actually show your web pages to the Xbox, and you can pinch and zoom. You can navigate using your phone almost like a touchpad. Like,
can you play Hulu?
I doubt it. Seriously doubt it.
I mean, how fast is this thing blocked by all of the major networks so that you can't stream NBC.com, Hulu?
Right. I mean, there were other browsers on other game consoles. This is the first time I believe that a browser is on the 360.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I'm sure that all those things would be blocked. But like for other casual things you want to throw out there, and like, hey, like, I do this all the time. I'm like shopping for a chair, and I want to show it. Instead of going, here, just pass my iPad around, I just flick it to the Apple TV actually right now. I could do the same kind of thing with a Windows device.
Yeah. Nintendo also had an announcement, although they made their announcement in a live stream before the announcement at the E3.
Right. There was a 30-minute video posted of a presentation, and they slowly explained what the Wii U is going to be about. And there wasn't a whole lot of new stuff here. And after Microsoft's announcement, it seems like they should, again, Nintendo they should be freaking out, actually. But they did introduce that Pro Controller, which does anyone else think that's a sign that Nintendo's actually moving towards a more serious gamer push? Because the thing is, that controller looks a lot like the Xbox 360. It looks like something that you would be using for hours as opposed to that kind of fun-looking, rounded Nintendo look. It's kind of
the Pro Controller is the new game controller that's not the gamepad.
Right.
The Wiimote's not going away, though, right?
No, there's backwards compatibility for the Nintendo Wii U and the Wii. So if you have all of your accessories that you plunk down tons of money for, your Wiimotes and your Wii nunchucks and the balance board thing, they all work with the Wii U, which I think is a really smart move because you're not alienating all your old users. You're like, look, yeah, we're upgrading, but you can take all your stuff with you. So that I thought was a real intelligent move by Nintendo.
Well, and people say, oh, this looks like the Xbox controller, and that might be true, but what it doesn't look like is the gamepad, and not everybody's going to want to use that, right? So they're just giving you more options depending on what you want to be holding when you're playing a game.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious about what the battery life is going to be like on that gamepad. It's got a touch screen. It's got internet connectivity. It can act as a video chat device.
Didn't they add infrared to it or something?
Yes, it's some kind of TV remote as well.
It can be your universal remote.
So I'm just kind of curious, like, will
is cool.
Constantly charge this thing back up, or are you going to use that Pro Controller instead? Because not every game is going to be optimized for the Wii U gamepad, and it's really a cool idea. But now I'm just really curious about whether it's going to get the gamers once Microsoft did what they did.
It probably has some sort of a little charging station, that you are supposed to put on, I don't know, the edge of your coffee table or something.
That'd be very smart if it does that.
You wouldn't lose it. I guess you'd be putting it in the same place every time you turn off your TV for the night.
Which do you like better, though? The gamepad, which is fully integrated into the Wii U, or Project Glass, where you can bring your own.
Glass.
Oh, man, I can't stop doing that.
It's not Project Natal.
Smart Glass, Project Natal, where you bring your own phone or tablet.
I definitely think that the Wii U stuff's going to work better, integrated and everything. But I personally like the idea of being able to use my own device, bring my own device to the 360, or if I want to use an iPad or an iPhone.
Because you already got the devices.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it, right? Is not that I don't think that this gamepad looks cool. It looks really cool. But if I can just use my iPad, I have like 3 iPads at my house. I mean, please let me use something that I've already got rather than having to buy a new device.
But with the Wii controller, you can not control the gamepad. You can go to Nintendo's social network, the Miiverse thing. This is a bizarre thing.
Right. We can't forget
as
the
in
Miiverse.
MII, right?
That's correct.
Like we, but me.
you can post. So in the demo video, they show this. Nintendo shows that there's a gamer who's having problems with a particular part of a game, and then he posts his status on Nintendo's Miiverse or whatever they're calling this thing, and
I can't kill Diablo.
Right. It's pretty, I'm getting shot. I'm getting killed by a zombie all the time. That's that was the actual demo. And Nintendo says that it's going to be browser based, so you could access it on a phone. You can access it on other Nintendo devices. I think that's a smart move that you could actually have access to the social network elsewhere. But I don't know if Nintendo trying to build their own, that's going to really do anything.
Yeah.
No, I think this is ticking off a sheet of requirements from a committee that said we need more social in the next Wii, and they said, "Great, okay, well we've got the Miis, that's perfect. We'll make that social, whatever that means."
Can they share it to Facebook?
Yeah.
How do we make them share stuff to Facebook?
Yeah, I hear
Miiverse.
Facebook shows social.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
The big thing I was excited about with that whole social network, it looked like Nintendo was moving to gamer tags and not code like friend codes. Because they had names.
Oh, that would be lovely.
Because it's really annoying to go, what's your gamer number or whatever Nintendo calls it, friend code, that's what it is. And you give out like this 10-digit number. They had screen names, not just like regular person's name, but like I think one was like Octo1113. That looked like you could actually find people a lot easier. So that to me is the most exciting part of their social strategy.
And you know what? That's a good point. We shouldn't slag Nintendo for improving their online service as long as, you know, it brings good improvements like that.
I think sometimes when companies introduce social elements, it's easy to roll your eyes and say, yeah, everyone's doing social. But I mean, if it's a social network where you can, I don't know, converse with people who are also playing Nintendo games and you're into it, that's great.
Yeah.
It's good to offer that.
Let's talk about some tablets. You're wondering, okay, with that smart glass feature, there I did it right, from Microsoft, I would like to have a Windows 8 tablet. What kind of Windows 8 tablets will I be able to get? Well, pretty much anyone you can imagine is being showed off at Computex right now in Taiwan. We wanted to know how Metro is going to run on tablets. This is our chance. Crazy form factors, starting with the Asus 18.1-inch tablet, the world's biggest tablet being showed off. Does anyone want an 18-inch tablet?
I don't even want my 17-inch tablet or laptop, rather. So like an 18-inch tablet is, I don't even know. I don't even have a messenger bag big enough to fit that.
It's an 18-inch device. It's a Windows 8 device when it's docked, and when you remove it from there, it turns into an Android device. So I think that's jarring. Like, oh, great, my operating system totally changed after I removed it.
Why does it change? That I remember I was really excited about that when Lenovo did it with the U1 like 3 years ago, because that was all they had, right? It was, I think it might have been Windows XP. It probably was Windows Vista. And then when you pulled off the tablet part, it turned into an Android-based device. That was primitive. Now we don't need to do that. You've got Metro. Why would you do that?
I would imagine it has to be battery savings, because I mean, unless Windows 8 is optimized, which it should be. You have an 18-inch display. Of course, it's got to be battery savings. I'm not thinking about it. That display is going to eat up tons of battery. But I could see it. I mean, maybe I'm just nuts enough to go, yeah, you know what? Sometimes I just wanted to rip the screen off my iMac. Or Microsoft had this a long time ago. It was called Smart Displays. You guys remember this, where you would be able to take your screen and move it away, and it was basically a rudimentary tablet back then. This is like, I don't know, pre-2000. It was an old idea. And it just seems like it has a new life. I like the gag, but I don't think I'm going to use something.
Now, it is an all-in-one machine when it's in Windows mode. And then when you turn it into the 18-inch tablet mode, right?
How's it all-in-one then? Isn't it all in like 1.5?
Yeah, I guess.
Because it's the dock.
Right. It's sort of
any tablet's an all-in-one. That's why.
No, but it's got the keyboard and everything with it.
Yeah.
Let's move on to one that I actually think is cooler, the Asus Taichi with the double-sided display. So instead of having to whirl around your screen to turn it into a tablet, you just close it. And when you close it, you've got a screen. You've got a touch screen. They're
both high-res, like 1920 by 1080 displays. You can mirror the mode, so if I wanted to show Sarah what I'm showing on my screen, you could do that. I mean, it's an elegant solution because we've seen, I think, Dell Inspiron try to do this weird, like, flippy kind of thing with the screen.
Yeah, when we have to do that all the time. We're like, hey, take a look at this. Oh, you guys are sitting in a weird position. Here, just look at the back of my screen. I'll mirror it. That would be fantastic.
And when the back screen is off, it just looks black and glass, and it looks very clean. So it's got a really nice implementation.
Got to have pretty good laptop cover.
Oh wow, yeah, you get scratched all the time.
You really want to be careful with that.
Well,
thing.
I don't know. I've got an iPad with Gorilla Glass. Do we know if this thing's got Gorilla Glass?
You have a
in
smart
it?
cover, right?
Yeah,
that
but
you
I don't know. I'd leave that thing around.
Really?
With the
You
smart
carry
cover
on your
folded
iPad
back a
bareback?
lot. Sometimes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Commando.
I think you're brave.
It's really tough glass. I don't see in any of the specs here if we know.
Yeah, I didn't see Gorilla Glass.
This is the sort of thing where when I look at it, I'm like, really? An extra screen on the back? But I can't tell you how many times I'm like, look, guys, here's this, we've got cords and this is really...
Well, and think about
it would come in handy.
If you wanted to turn it into a tablet, you just... That's so elegant. Rather than like, hold on, let me... Before that... Detaching, I think, is horrible because then I'm going to lose the keyboard because I'm absent-minded. But then the other option is to turn the screen around and then fold it back down. This is great. You just close the screen. We're used to that.
The other thing is if you're using it as a tablet mostly, it's only for that time where you're like, oh, now I want to use it as a laptop. Because sometimes I want an iPad to have a keyboard. Sometimes I don't.
Wouldn't it be
most
great
of the
if
time,
you could just pull it open?
There's one that actually is a slider. Did you see that one? There's a slider tablet, Windows 8. So it's like I believe a 13-inch display that slides up like a giant phone, and there's a keyboard underneath, and there's no weird angle to it. It's just this very large, strange...
So you lay it down to type, though?
I guess they want you to hold it like as if it was a giant phone.
By the way, the Taichi is NFC-enabled, so it's got a buzzword attached to it, and this is actually pretty cool. It comes with a BlueStacks app launcher, so you can run Android apps on it.
That makes it really interesting. Right off the bat, you can run thousands of apps on that.
Only thing is, in tablet mode, it's flat. It's flat on your desk. So you got to have some sort of a third. If you like your tablet at a bit of an angle. Otherwise, you close your laptop and then you got your nice
but
flat.
aren't all tablets flat on your desk?
No, that's wrong because you can just turn your computer around and bend the display back.
Oh, that's true.
And use
That's
it
true.
just like that.
There you go.
Okay.
That's true.
All right.
Thank you, Chad.
Thinking about that.
Also, the Acer folks had a bunch of form factors on display at Computex. The Aspire S7 has a 1080p touchscreen, 13.3 and 11.6-inch versions, 12 millimeters thick. Nice-looking touchscreen laptop. Nothing quite as crazy. There's also the Iconia W510, which we're showing right now in the video version. That's a convertible with a detachable keyboard.
Detachable keyboard.
Yeah, exactly.
The weirdest thing in the video, I think it's Sean Hollister's trying to remove the screen, and it just drops. The dock itself drops because there's not a latch or anything. Apparently, it just
falls right off.
Right. You actually, if you watch the video, you can see that happen. But if you listen to the video, you hear
$600 to $800, and it's one of those bend around as well as detachable. That's all right.
Now that I saw the Taichi, I'm kind of like I'm thinking the way you are, Tom. Like I'm going to lose that dock. I have to keep that around now. Now this is something I have to constantly worry about versus the other convertible now, which is either flip the screen or fold it down. I like the fold it down solution.
I think a couple people in chat have the same feeling I have, where it's like every single thing that we've talked about, maybe with the exception of the 18-inch tablet, is like, wow, that's cool. But I can't even remember what we talked about. We just talked about like 10 different tablet, hybrid, laptop, detachable keyboards.
And they're going to keep coming. In fact, we've got Ryan Shrout from PC Perspective joining us tomorrow to help make sense of it because we're going to have more announcements coming out of Computex tomorrow. Sam Byford from The Verge pointed out in his roundup of today's announcements that we won't necessarily see any of these form factors ship ever. Remember last year's Computex, the pad phone? That was the phone that it was also a tablet that was also a laptop.
Didn't the pad phone launch?
No. The pad phone part itself did not launch.
Oh.
It
was just that great video.
Yeah. So it's Computex. Don't get too attached. That's what I'm saying. Don't get too close. You'll just have your heart broken.
To your detachable keyboard.
Or your Taichi. I would like to take a break real quickly and thank our sponsor, GoToAssist. Working in IT, if you work in IT, you don't need me to tell you this. It's unpredictable, challenging. There are always people with the weirdest problems, and they need help right away. You're getting pulled in several directions at once. Things can break down at any moment. That's why we're excited to tell you about GoToAssist by Citrix. It will help you stay on top of all of it, and you don't get pulled apart in 100 different directions. You can stay right where you are. Here's how it works. GoToAssist is software as a service based, purpose-built to give you more control of your IT world. You can use world-class remote support to solve your users' problems quickly from anywhere you are. Get easily into their machines, see what the problem is, fix it. And it's as if there's 100 of you running around fixing all of these things. GoToAssist Monitoring gives you customizable dashboards displaying performance of all your networks, your servers, your desktops. Plus, this is the best part, you can see into the future. Proactive alerting allows you to fix small issues before they become problems. GoToAssist is easy to use, sets up in just minutes. It's from Citrix. They're a trusted leader in IT, so you know that it's reliable. And Russell, our IT guy here, I know Leo's talked about this a lot, is a huge fan. We set him up with GoToAssist to try it. And this is exactly what he does. He runs IT consultants for lots of companies, and he needs that ability to remotely access. He's like, this is fantastic. I love GoToAssist. So sign up right now for your special 30-day free trial. Sign up today. Visit GoToAssist.com, click on the Try It Free button, and use the promo code TNT. That's GoToAssist.com. Promo code TNT. And we thank them for their support of Tech News Today. Okay, Facebook's loving the kids these days. Well,
yes,
maybe.
That's right. Of Facebook's 900 million or so users, Consumer Reports says that as of last year, 7.5 million children under the age of 13 were using Facebook, including more than 5 million under the age of 10. Well, there's an issue with that because Facebook actually bans users under the age of 13. The problem is that it's pretty easy to just lie about your age, get an account, and, pretend that you're older than you are, except that federal law requires sites to obtain verifiable parental consent before collecting personal data from children. Facebook is obviously in the business of collecting personal data from everyone, so it gets into some gray areas, regulatory issues potentially, because they're not vetting the ages of people carefully enough. Wall Street Journal is reporting that Facebook is now testing ways to be able to connect kids under 13 by connecting their accounts to their parents' accounts. Basically, it would help parents control who their kids can friend, for example. It's obviously very important, but also what kind of apps that they can use, not just any old app. And if there's some sort of an app that might be charging you from within Facebook, that app would be charging the parents their credit card or whatever other identifiable information would have to be connected to the child's account so that it's really more on the parent than the child, and the child's account would be a much more locked down, limited version of Facebook. Depending on who you are, this either sounds like, hey, listen, if kids are already going to be on Facebook anyway, we might as well make it a safer place for kids under the age of 13. And of course, Facebook is like, they don't want to get into trouble with the government. They've already got so much privacy issues that they've had to comply with already. Or the other side of it is, what do kids under 13 need to be on Facebook for anyway? And there's still ways to get around all of this.
I think that's the key. Is this is a complex problem. It's not as easy as saying, well, kids shouldn't be on Facebook, because kids are on Facebook.
Yes.
So would you rather have them lying and unsupervised, or would you rather have a legitimate way that actually protects kids? Wall Street Journal is just saying that Facebook's working on this. There's no official word from Facebook, although Mark Zuckerberg has talked publicly in the past.
Yeah, in fact, about a year ago, he said, I think children under 13 should be allowed to use Facebook at some point. That's something that we're going to try to tackle in the future. So no surprise that they are trying to work on it. Plus, hey, they want as many people on the service as possible.
Now, Ken,
somebody under the age of 13 will eventually be over the age of 13, and then they're fair game.
Ken from Chicago says it's easy. Facebook don't collect data on kids. It's not that easy, Ken. If Facebook said we're going to allow people under 13 to sign up, but we're not going to collect data on any of them, there'd be a huge outcry because there would be no parental controls. There would be all the same privacy problems that you have right now for adults that are now considered worse because they're for children. What Facebook's trying to do is saying, instead of just saying we're not going to collect data, we're going to try to be more responsible than we're required to be by law, and we're going to give parents more control over what these kids do. They can't have anyone under 13 and collect the data. That's a given. So it's not about trying to sneakily collect data on the 13-year-olds unless, or at least it doesn't have to be. It's about having a situation where the parents feel comfortable allowing their children to sign up because they know who their children are friending, they can control who contacts them, and they can make the decision of whether the child is on Facebook or not. But as you mentioned, Sarah, if the parents say, no, you know what, I'm not going to allow you on Facebook, kids can always just lie and start an account on their own.
Yeah, so it doesn't really solve the problem of the parents saying, you don't need Facebook. What do you need Facebook for? It's for when you're older because the kid can get around it as long as they have internet access. But it sounds like, according to research through Microsoft Research released a study last fall that said 36% of parents were aware that their children had joined Facebook before the age of 13, for parents who had kids that young, and that a good percentage of those parents said, okay, yeah, that's fine, wink, wink. As long as I'm somewhat aware of what you're doing online, we'll just pretend you're 14 here. That's okay. But if the parents had another option that tightened the controls on their kids' activity on Facebook, that's even better. Now, of course, some advocacy groups, child advocacy groups, are like, this is just a bad idea in general. A fellow by the name of James Steyer, who's a chief executive at a place called Common Sense Media, which is an advocacy group based in San Francisco, says, listen, we don't even have the social research to evaluate pros and cons of social media platforms and what they're doing to teenagers. The last thing we need to do is roll this out to kids younger than 13 when we don't even really know what, the 10-year effect on older kids is.
All I can keep thinking about is if parents are changing the controls on a kid and let's say the child's on there and Facebook has these parental controls, all I'm thinking is all these status updates of kids who are ticked off at their parents. That's why I could just keep seeing that. I can imagine then that there's a nice targeted ad for the father who's going, oh, look, child therapy sessions. It seems like you could build a real interesting picture of a family as opposed to saying, yeah, I have a kid. Oh, but your kid's actually posting. Now, what's going on there? The ads could just be targeted towards the parents as well. I'm just thinking of the business standpoint and just thinking about how this is actually going to impact Facebook. For people whose parents aren't on Facebook, they might go, hey, you should get on Facebook so I can be on Facebook if they're on the up and up to that degree, that open. So then Facebook wins again. They have more people on board. They get a better picture of everybody. And if they do this kind of parental control, because this seems really strict, if they do this, it should make certain people happy at least. It's not like Facebook is saying, you get one option, watch everything or watch nothing. It's kind of it seems like their move would be liked by some, I didn't mean that as a pun, liked by some parents.
Yeah. In other Facebook news, which has nothing to do with children, I don't think, All Things D is reporting that...
Just people acting like children.
Childlike executives at Yahoo and Facebook are moving forward with a deal to end their patent infringement litigation with a settlement coming in the next few weeks. The details...
Wait, but it sounds like the end. Oh.
It's just peace, you guys. Look at the doves. It's all good. We hope so anyway. Details would include a huge cross-licensing of patents. I'm sure that surprises Iyaz.
Yes, I think
in no way at all.
I've only been saying that about every patent dispute.
That's usually how these end up working out. But not only that, but a deeper integration of Facebook into Yahoo's network and vice versa. Yahoo's into Facebook's, which Yahoo has had good success with as far as their engagement of their user bases. And so they want to continue that as well. Now, All Things D says that their sources say that something could come out as far as here's our plan, here's the situation going forward in as little as just a few weeks. Also, that Facebook might be interested in buying outright some of Yahoo's patents that Yahoo owns. However, Facebook did just buy, about $500 million worth of patents and licensed from Microsoft.
I'm just thinking of Sheryl Sandberg. Mark, you just bought patents from Microsoft, but I want to buy some more from Yahoo.
That's a good one.
They've got a good price.
Only $1 billion.
It's a really good deal.
Yeah, we have so many. So many billions anyway, not so many patents yet. But yes, so they have the option, certainly. They did just buy and license quite a few patents from Microsoft that originally came from AOL. So it's hey, they could beef up more. But sources say they might not be as likely to be plunking down too much money for Yahoo. Of course, the idea behind this litigation started from Yahoo. Yahoo went after Facebook under Scott Thompson, who was the CEO at the time. It was very controversial. A lot of people said, oh, Yahoo's just a patent troll. They have no other ideas on how to make money. But the idea was that Yahoo could potentially get quite a bit of money from Facebook. Facebook was about to hit their IPO. They were in somewhat of a vulnerable state. Yahoo needs money. Now that Scott Thompson is out, interim CEO Ross Levinson and a few board members, including everyone's favorite board member Dan Loeb, look to be trying to wrap this up sooner than later.
I think this is Ross Levinson calling up Facebook and saying, and I've seen a couple of posts to this effect, hey, that Scott guy's gone, right?
Yeah.
So friends? Can we just, figure out how to put this behind us?
We're sorry.
What Yahoo wanted originally was
my idea.
Probably just a nice big chunk of Facebook stock in the beginning, and now the Facebook stock is not doing so hot. They're like, maybe we should clear this up because money's good, and the cross-licensing agreement would give them a revenue stream, and that's what they really want out of this. The fact that Facebook won't buy them outright is another thing. I mean, Facebook probably has enough guts at this point going, yeah, look, you guys are going to get destroyed by us. We just bought $500 million worth of stuff with your buddy Microsoft there. You really shouldn't be messing with us. So Facebook they're in a really good position, and Yahoo just needs something for a press release saying, we're pals with Facebook. We're making money with them one way or another.
Stop hating us, Silicon Valley.
Yeah, so then,
and they want Facebook integrated into their site. If Yahoo's going to improve and turn things around and become a valid presence on the internet that is growing again instead of fading, they kind of need Facebook right now. Let's finish off with a little preview of WWDC. It's coming up in exactly 1 week. We'll be doing live coverage right here at live.twit.tv, starting with the announcement. Well, not the announcement, but the talk from Tim Cook, his keynote address at the Worldwide Developers Conference. That's for developers. So don't get your hopes up too high that you're going to hear a bunch of products. We're going to hear a lot about operating systems, about development platforms, because that's what this is for. Let's start off with the big elephant in the room, though. What do you guys think? Are we going to hear about an Apple TV operating system, whether it's for an actual television or just an update to Apple TV?
No, not this year. No,
not even an update to Apple TV?
No.
They're not going to announce, hey, look, the Apple TV has this cool new feature.
I think maybe you
can update it next week.
Maybe content deals, but not. I'm not seeing like, but there's a new interface. They just redid that interface. I believe it was last year because they were sticking to that front row style for a couple of years, and they're like, we revamped it. It looks much more like iOS on a phone or an iPad. If anything, I'm just thinking, I'm not thinking a new generation of it or anything. So I just think that's been redesigned. They're not going to mess with that just yet.
What are we going to get from iOS 6? I mean, I think it's pretty fair bet that we're going to hear something about the next version of Apple's iPhone operating system. New map? That kind of has been the rumor, is that we're going to get Apple saying, we're replacing Google Maps.
I think it's fair to say that we'll get new maps, or certainly a much better sense of what's coming, even if it's not launching next week at WWDC. There are all sorts of things in iOS 5 that I think just aren't good enough yet. Notification system is still a complete mess as far as I'm concerned. Just freaking rehaul that notification center completely, and don't make me turn off 5 things in order to not get pop-ups when my iPad is locked. Okay, iOS 6, can you just do that for me? Not that I'm upset or anything. It's just, it's a...
Go ahead, loosen up. Tell us how you feel.
There are a few things that Apple has got to sit back and be like, this is a mess. There are way too many apps here that are doing too many things, and they could clean it up a lot.
I think one of the rumors was an actual Do Not Disturb button in the settings that turns off all notifications, because that is a real problem. You're just trying to do one thing on your iPad, and then there's like, here's 15 things. It's like, no, not now.
That's why I don't turn notifications on for almost anything, and I don't have that problem. But I also don't get a lot of notifications about anything, so I'm not taking good advantage of the service. But it's that, that's the other way to deal with it. Just don't use it for hardly anything. I use it for hockey scores. That's about it.
And since hockey is rare and nobody covers it.
It's not, because the Stanley Cup is dead to me since the Blues lost. Siri coming to iPad. 9 to 5 Max reporting that. I think that's fairly
I expected
possible.
that with the new iPad. I was actually somewhat surprised that we didn't hear anything about Siri when the new iPad came out in March. So this would be a welcome addition as far as I'm concerned. Even though Siri's not perfect, I'd like to have the option to try to use it on my iPad.
Yeah, that and the new iPad has voice dictation. I use that all the time for messages and things. And it just seems like if the mic can handle that, it should be able to handle me saying, Siri, set up this meeting.
MG Siegler at TechCrunch reports Facebook integration definitely coming. Unless things change. He's very careful to write, this is Apple. Things can change between now and next Monday. But if everything holds the way it is right now, we'll see Facebook integrated in iOS the same way we see Twitter integrated in iOS.
I think that's got to happen at this point. Facebook, I think Facebook was baked into iOS 4 for a little bit. People saw that in the developers version, and they removed it because Apple couldn't work out a deal with Facebook, and that led to the whole ping disaster. But Tim Cook is a little bit more, what's the word, even than Steve
Maybe
Jobs.
less
it seems.
grudgy.
Yeah, he might be
a little
willing
less
to,
grudgy.
He
Yeah.
might be willing, like, let's just get people to use our devices, and they want to use Facebook, and it just seems like that's probably there.
Well, something even as simple as, okay, I download an app, it lets me log in with Facebook Connect, and I'm like, okay, that's fine, I have no problem with that. The way it stands now, it's like you get Safari launches, and then you get the Facebook dialog box, and it goes back. It works okay, but it's not sort of the seamless, beautiful experience. It would be nice to have more integration the way that Twitter has.
And Mountain Lion, we know most of the things about Mountain Lion, but we'll probably hear some more about. I'm sure we'll hear more about that. The next operating system for Macs and MacBooks. I hear Twitter integration might be announced for Mountain Lion. That's the only new rumor that I've heard.
I thought they had shown Twitter integration in previous editions. I don't know.
Maybe they have.
Maybe it was just a screenshot that was dummied up or not. But I just can't remember at this point because there's so many things.
Sounds familiar to me too.
Because they're bringing all that iOS stuff in there anyway, so why not add in what they have?
Okay, let's move on to the randomizer.
Randomizer.
How about this? You want to save some fuel on your airplane?
Yeah.
You want a high-quality experience because you're Singapore Airlines?
You know it.
Get rid of all your built-in entertainment systems.
Why?
And replace them with iPads.
Ooh.
It's more sophisticated because it's an iPad, I guess. But also, it reduces fuel costs because it reduces the weight of the plane by 7%.
Are you kidding me?
That's what they're saying on The Verge.
Wow. Well, I guess
According
all
to Bloomberg Business Week.
those seats add up, huh?
Yeah. You rent an iPod to keep occupied during the flight, so they also make more money off you. iPads cost $17 for the duration of the flight. Business class passengers get them for free, of course.
Now, if you have your own iPad, you can't hook it up to their content network and watch their movies on. There's no way.
I wonder how that works. I wonder if it's a Wi-Fi network that delivers you stuff, or if the iPads just have movies preloaded on them.
There's 50 gigabytes of information. It says 50 gigabytes of movies and entertainment are loaded onto the iPad. So there's no network on the airplane. So any airplane can be retrofitted with these iPads.
iPad or Android device or anything. What I'm just happy about is people not having those touchscreens that are behind my head and they just tap incessantly because it's resistive and not capacitive. Whatever makes that a little bit better for me, and when I'm flying anywhere, I will love that because I am somewhat considerate because I don't like getting poked in the back of the head. So I will use my nail. But this is a capacitive, really good touchscreen on the iPad. If this is an Android device as well, they made that move. Just move everything to capacitive. I don't care what device it is. Just do it.
Okay. Yeah, and make sure that you're keeping account of how many iPads you offered out so that someone doesn't go, no, you never gave me one.
Nah, that's a good point. Although you're on a big tin can, it's hard to get off until it lands.
True.
So it shouldn't be too hard to keep track.
People just skydiving out with iPads.
Let's check what's on the calendar.
Okay. Big companies are making the switch to IP version 6 on Wednesday. Parts of Yahoo's network, for example, Google, Microsoft, Facebook, they're all on board.
Oh my God.
We need more room on the internet, and this is how we're going to get it. Firefox 13 has arrived with some new major features, a whole redesigned home and tab pages, support for tabs on demand, previous browsing sessions, speeding up on startup, a new Reset Firefox feature for attempting to fix problems with a single click. Good stuff there. So download it if you're a Firefox fan. Sony is presenting its traditional pre-E3 press conference on this Monday, actually tonight, at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern. The HP Envy Spectre XT pre-orders are now open, starting at $1,000 and shipping on June 22nd. And finally, Russian crooner Edward Keel, a.k.a. Mr. Trololo.
Trololo guy.
You probably know him better as Mr. Trololo, has passed away at the age of 77. That 1976 performance of I Am Glad Because I'm Finally Returning Back Home, except it sounded a lot more like Trololo. Became a pretty big hit. You may know it. You and almost 13 million other people on YouTube.
So sad. He did get one last moment of fame in 2010, though. He did a lot of interviews. He was happy that people were seeing his work
like
again.
The parody thing was, it was fun for him.
He was fine. He's like, that's cool.
Why not?
I don't care. All right. Also, I don't know if you saw this one. Microsoft's going to announce the next future of Windows Phone on June 20th.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Thank you for the extra calendar item.
Sure. Just throwing that in. Let's see what's incoming.
Incoming message.
Yeah, sorry. I fell asleep there for a second. Chris in South Bend, Indiana, wrote in and said, "Hey, TNT Show, I got a little scoop for you. At least I think so. I recently reconnected with an old friend from high school, and in doing so, I learned they now work at AT&T. In shooting the breeze, they told me that AT&T has shared data plans coming and is pretty sure they will be here by the end of the year. I confirmed they're referring to all the devices on a single account using one single data plan. It's about time." Well, we've been hearing lots of scuttlebutt about this. Officials from AT&T have said, yeah, we definitely want to bring this. So it's good to get a little more corroboration from workers at AT&T. Shared data for all your devises?
Yeah, I mean, that stops me from buying connected devices because I have to pay for each device. It seems a little silly, especially if I'm just using the same network. So why can't I just go, one bucket, I'll take it. I don't know if I'm going to AT&T, though.
All right, that's it for this edition of Tech News Today. Andy Notko, hope you feel better soon. We'll try to get you back on the show soon as well. Of course, we'll be talking to Andy on WWDC next week and on Mac Break Weekly tomorrow right here on Twit. And let us know what you think about this new format where we put the news fuse first at TNT@twit.tv, and also submit stories in our subreddit, technewstoday.reddit.com. Let us know what stories you want us to cover each and every day right here on the show. Plug tomorrow's guest, Ryan Shrout. Yes, Ryan Shrout will be with us tomorrow to talk about Computex. That's it for our show. You can find us on the web at twit.tv/TNT. You can email us, TNT@twit.tv, or give us a call. Leave us a voicemail, 260-TNT-SHOW. We'll see you tomorrow.